What is good? Huge. It's your boy Flames back at it again. Other Bible reading video, man. It's today. We're about to be reading out of First Samuel, chapter 27 and 28. Without further ado, man, let's get right to it. David flees the Philistines. Okay, so in the last chapter, um, David spared Saul again, who was continuing to go after him when he did nothing wrong. And I'm sorry, um, if I seem a little distracted. I'm really irritated about something right now. So y'all pray for me and just chill, just calm down and pray for me, y'all. Um, but yeah, sorry about that. Um, but yeah, so David spared Saul again, and he walked into the encampment, and the Lord put a deep sleep over everybody, and he had the opportunity to kill Saul after Saul was continuing to pursue him after David showed mercy on him the first time. So showed mercy on him the second time, and Saul was remorseful, just like the first time, but we'll see. I'm not completely sure now if he's going to chill out, even though, because he said he was before and he didn't. So, we don't know. But yeah, chapter 27, let's get it. Then David said in his heart, Now I shall perish one day by the hand of Saul. There is nothing better for me than that I should escape to the land of the Philistines. And Saul will despair of seeking me any longer within the borders of Israel, and I shall escape out of his hand. So David arose and went over, he and the 600 men who were with him, to Achish the son of Maach, king of Gath. And David lived with Achish at Gath, he and his men, every man with his household, and David with his 2 wives, Ahiam of Jezreel, and Abigail of Carmel, Nabal's widow. And when it was told Saul that David had fled to Gath, he no longer saw him. And so Saul was still going to continue to go after him, like regardless of like how he acted or like how humble he acted or whatever. Or even though David clearly had the favor of God, right? But it just didn't seem to really matter. And David said to Achish, If I have found favor in your eyes, let a place be given me in one of your country towns that I may dwell there. For why should your servant dwell in the royal city with you? So that day Achish gave him Ziklag. Therefore Ziklag has belonged to the kings of Judah to this day. And the number of the days that David lived in the country of the Philistines was 1 year and 4 months. Now David and his men went up and made raids against the Geshurites, the Girzites, and the Alchemites, for these were the inhabitants of the land from of old as far as Shur to the land of Egypt. And David would strike the land and would leave neither man nor woman alive, but would take away the sheep, the oxen, the donkeys, the camels, and the garments, and come back to Achish. When Achish asked, Where have you made a raid today? David would just say, Against the Najib of Judah, against the Najib of the Jerahmeelites, or against the Najib of the Kenites. And David would leave neither man or woman alive to bring news to Gath, thinking, lest they should tell about us and say, So David is done. Such his custom all the while he lived in the country of the Philistines. So she didn't leave no survivors because he didn't want people to know how much he was knocking people off like that. That's kind of cool. Thinking, He has made himself an utter stench to his people Israel. Therefore he shall always be my servant. Okay, that is the end of this first chapter. I'm about to get into the next one. Saul in the medium of Endor. In those days the Philistines gathered their forces for war, to fight against Israel. And Achish said to David, Understand that you and your men are to go out with me in the army. David said to Achish, Very well, you shall know what your servant can do. And Achish said to David, Very well, I will make you my bodyguard for life. Now Samuel had died, and all Israel mourned for him and buried him in Ramah, his own city. And Saul had put mediums and the necromancers out. Okay. So basically, hold on, I need to plug in my computer and I just Bible. One second, guys. I'm so sorry. The video will completely end, and I'll have to remake it if my computer battery gets too low. Okay, where were we? Okay. So when they say the mediums and the necromancers, what was that? So those are basically people who were doing like stuff like how like modern day you'll think of like people doing like witchcraft and all this different stuff and all these different like evil practices, satanic practices. Like mediums are people who like say that they can like get you to like talk to your ancestors, but it's really familiar spirits disguising themselves as your ancestor because that's not like a real thing. So it's basically people who are conjuring with demons, thinking that they're reaching out to people who have died in their souls. Essentially, they're being tricked. But that's like that's basically what that is. Um, Out of the land. The Philistines assembled and came and camped at Shinnim. And Saul gathered all Israel, and they encamped at Gilboa. When Saul saw the army of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart trembled greatly. And Saul inquired of the Lord. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay. Saul inquired of the Lord. The Lord did not answer them, either by dreams, or by Urim, or by prophets. And Saul said to his servants, seek out for me a woman who is a medium, that I may go to her and inquire of her. So after casting all of them out for the Lord, Saul got frustrated with God and wanted to use the power of one of these people, right? Behold, there was a medium at Endor. So Saul disguised himself and put on other garments and went, he and 2 men with him. And they came to the woman by night, and he said, divine for me by a spirit and bring up for me whomever I shall name to you. The woman said to him, surely you know what Saul has done, how he has cut off the mediums and the necromancers from the land. Why then are you laying a trap for my life to bring about my death? But Saul swore to her by the Lord, as the Lord lives, no punishment shall come upon you for this thing. And the woman said, whom shall I bring up for you? He said, bring up Samuel for me. When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice, and the woman said to Saul, why have you deceived me? You are Saul. The king said to her, do not be afraid. What do you see? The woman said to Saul, I see a god coming up out of the earth. He said to her, what is his appearance? And she said, an old man is coming up, and he is wrapped in a robe. Saul knew that it was Samuel, and he bowed with his face to the ground and paid homage. And Samuel said to Saul, why have you disturbed me by bringing me up? Saul answered, I am in great distress, for the Philistines are warring against me, and God has turned away from me and answers me no more, either by prophets or by dreams. Therefore I have summoned you to tell me what I shall do. And Samuel said, why then do you ask me, since the Lord has turned from you and became your enemy? The Lord has done to you as he spoke by me, for the Lord has torn the kingdom out of your hand and given it to your neighbor, David. Because you did not obey the voice of the Lord and did not carry out his fierce wrath against Amalek, therefore the Lord has done this thing to you this day. Moreover, the Lord will give Israel also with you into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow you and your son shall be with me. Wait, so maybe that's weird, because I thought like those people don't really have any power, but that's just like this whole passage is confusing me. I'm gonna ask my dad about it. Then Saul fell at once full length on the ground, filled with fear because of the words of Samuel, and there was no strength in him, for he had eaten nothing all day and all night. And the woman came to Saul, and when she saw that he was terrified, she said to him, behold, your servant has obeyed you. Taken my life in my hand, I have listened to what you said to me. Now therefore you must also obey your servant. Let me set a morsel of bread before you, and eat, that you may have strength when you go on your way. He refused and said, I will not eat. But his servants, together with the woman, urged him, and he listened to their words. So he arose from the earth and sat on the bed. Now the woman had a fattened calf in the house, and she quickly killed it, and she took flour and kneaded it and baked unleavened bread of it. She put it before Saul and his servants, and they ate. Then they rose and went away that night. Okay, so that is the end of this chapter. I'm sorry for all the like the confusing stuff and the Charger stuff this video, and may not be fully lost in. But I appreciate y'all for watching. I love y'all so much, and yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all tomorrow. We're gonna read the rest of the First Samuel, and yeah, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace.